Are you living a fully expressed life, or is fear holding you back? Welcome to Born to Be All of Me, the podcast. I am your host, Amber Sousa. I believe we are all destined for a unique purpose, and in order to truly step into this purpose, we need information and transformation. And that is exactly what these conversations are all about. Are you ready to live the life you were born to live? I know I am. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast, Born to Be All of Me with Amber Sousa. I am back with my dear friend, Kate Yurenda of Dream Bold Network. If you listened to last week's episode, we are continuing the conversation. You know, some people, they see a therapist once a week. Some people have a podcast and have a standing date with their friend and work through whatever it is that life is bringing. So Kate and I are going with the flow. We're enjoying ourselves. We talked today about healing our past, letting things go, forgiveness, qigong. We talk about her nunchucking and how she's taking it onto the ice skates. And we talk about, how fun it is to dream and visualize and create. If you're familiar with Martha Beck, she talks about how the opposite of anxiety is creativity. I've also heard people say the opposite of depression is purpose. And so my solution to feeling anxious or down is to come into a mode of creativity and inspiration. And having conversations with my friend Kate brings me into this place where I feel joyful and I feel elevated and I feel inspired and we have fun. We laugh and we talk about the crazy dreams we have, like, filming a scene with Eminem on the ice skates with nunchucks, rapping. You'll hear more about it in the episode. So without further ado, here is my beautiful friend, Kate Yurenda. How are you today? Your hair looks pretty.
Well. Oh, thanks. I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm feeling much better for sure. Had a lot of time to process and work through things and just gearing up for the next chapter. So it's good.
I told you I was cracking up because last episode I kept saying Nun-Chucks. I don't know if people can tell, but it's nun with an N, and I was very confidently saying numb over and over.
Okay. My parents have been doing the same thing. They're like, "What? You're playing with nunchucks?" I'm like, "No, nunchucks."
My whole life I thought it was nunchucks.
Yeah, so did I.
I was feeling angry yesterday and today, and I thought, I know that Kate uses her nunchucks to release anger, and I was like, I would be afraid I would hit myself, because doesn't it, how do you not whack yourself?
I mean, it comes very close. I've almost hit myself in the face a few times for sure. And you are hitting yourself. I mean, you're hitting it off of your body. So it's a lot of body hardening techniques. You're retraining your body to be able to withstand the impact. So I've always loved martial arts. I've always loved, iron shirt, qigong. So just body hardening. So I actually really want to get into kung fu and things like that down the road. So just kind of pre-training for all of that, kind of gearing up for that. But I've had so much fun with it. Wait till you see the footage. It's so fun.
Do you get bruised? Are you bruised from hitting yourself?
Yeah. I had some bruises for sure, but I have really high pain tolerance, and for me, it's just been very therapeutic. It's a very odd form of therapy, but it's working for me because I have such an energy release, and then it's such kind of a natural high just from the fast movement and the activated life force, and I'm in love with it now at this point. So this week I'm going to start ice skating while playing with my nunchucks. So we're going to our next level. We're going to level this up.
Nunchuck with dancing. Now it's nunchuck with ice skating. So you feel comfortable to be on the skates.
Yes. I'm going to combine all three: the dance, the skating, and the nunchuck. See what happens.
You will be filming this.
I'll be filming. Oh yeah, I film everything. For sure.
Have you ever done pole dancing? Because that's another thing that I've heard gives you bruises, but is also very therapeutic.
I haven't tried that, but that's one of those activities that's on my list because I know it's a great workout and I love to
Yeah.
dance. Have you
Yeah.
done it? Have you tried that?
No,
Okay.
I mean, I've done obviously, as a dancer, like I've done other kinds of dance. And I was in a burlesque troupe for a hot minute
Mhm.
after my first divorce, and that was great. That was very liberating. Um, and people have always said you'd be so good because I was a gymnast, and so they were like, you'd be so good, and I thought, I don't know, like squeezing your legs around that pole and getting like pole burns and bruises doesn't feel as fun as just dancing freely feels to me. But
Yeah, I do feel that way. I'd love to try it. It looks really fun and acrobatic, and we'll see. Although, I may just be clumsy on the pole. I don't know. I don't know how I would be with something like that. There's an element that looks really fun, but it does look like it would beat you up quite a bit for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for
But you
sure.
like that,
I
Nunchuck.
do apparently. It's true. It's true.
Oh my God. So I just had this thought. So my kids, when we're doing dinner at the dinner table, we do this thing. We go around the table and we do high, low, buffalo. So the high is like your high of the day, your low of the day, and buffalo is just anything random that you want to do. So that just
Mm.
popped in my head. Like, you want to do like a high, low buffalo from the week since last time we talked?
Oh, sure, sure. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I guess a high would be my mom and I, we went out for a sushi lunch and then we went to a matinee, and I haven't been to a movie in years. And we saw, oh no, I think I forgot the name of it, but it's the oh my gosh, what is wrong with my brain? Just trying to give a movie recommendation. I can't even remember. Bob Dylan, the movie about Bob Dylan. And
Oh, I've heard really good things.
yeah, it's really, really good. It's amazing, actually, really well done. So I felt really inspired watching that and just left like, yes, like just feeling really confident in my next steps just from his path, his struggles and his journey with it all, and just watching him rise up into his, zone of genius. And so it was amazing. It was such a fun day, and yeah, it was just good to be at a movie, be in a matinee, and
Yeah.
it's fun. Yeah.
Oh, I
Uh,
love the movies. Yeah.
yeah, it's so fun. A low. Oh gosh, it's been a very neutral week, so a low would be a little tricky. I mean, I am feeling a lot of like sadness. Like I'm really missing California. So I guess my low moments are when I'm thinking about what's going on in California, and I'm just missing the community and everybody. So I guess that would kind of be my low, is just my heart's kind of aching for everybody. And then the buffalo, just random, huh? Okay, random. I think I dropped the buffalo on you with the ice skating nunchuck. That might be
You
the
can
buffalo.
you can reuse it. You can use that.
That might be the buffalo. I think that's the next step for me. So
That's a good one.
a good buffalo.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. How
Ice
about
skating
you?
nunchucks.
Yeah.
Um, so I had a high this week. It was actually a really big deal. I don't know how to tell this story without giving backstory. So I think I've shared with you, I was the co-owner of a Pilates and fitness studio years ago. And we opened that in 2011. And at that time in my life, I was purely focused as far as health and wellness goes on like my physical, right? So working out, and like that was how I would handle everything, like all the stresses of life. I hadn't gotten all the other tools that we have now. And but I went through my spiritual awakening that came in the form of severe and debilitating low back pain. And so that was the way that, my soul was like, hey, we'll get her to slow down and start meditating by, taking away her ability to move. And so it felt like it was the worst thing in the world at the time. But yeah, 10 years ago, I literally woke up. I had two babies, well, one just under two, and like a newborn. And I was the co-owner of this high intensity Pilates and fitness studio. And I like couldn't walk. But I had my awakening, and all of a sudden I felt compelled to start sharing everything that I was learning, right? And
Mhm.
so at this high intensity fitness place, I'm teaching a class, they're on their trampolines, they're sprinting, and I'm like, everybody yell what they're grateful for. And then, at the end I'd have them like do instead of the cool down, I do a cool down and meditation, right? So like, I just, I was like, I couldn't not share what I was feeling like was changing my life. I was able to heal my back. And so I approached my business partner and I was like, this is what's happening. I went through a health coaching program. I became a health coach. Like I was bringing in other classes. Like I brought in somebody who taught Kundalini yoga, which was not what our clients were used to. And somebody else who did sound bath, like different things that we're into now. And so I said, what I want to do is I want to open up a second location and have it be like the yin to the yang, right? Like we've got the intense workout here, and then we've got this other sweet little studio for all the things that Wellspring, which was all of me, right now offers. And I thought that we were on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So it got really yucky. It got really yucky, as sometimes relationships can get when one of you is having a spiritual awakening and one of you is not. It's like, what's happening? What is wrong with you? Why don't you want to still do the same? Like, it's working. What we're doing is working, right? And that's kind of, and because she didn't understand it, she felt, I think, like betrayed, or like I was kind of abandoning or betraying our business.
Mm-hmm.
And she did see it as a separate business. Whereas for me, I saw it as an expansion of our current business, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So she ended up hiring an attorney, and she wanted to have me buy her out because she no longer wanted to be in partnership together. And it was devastating. And I'm sure it was devastating to her too. Right. And it got really, really yucky and sad. And we went back and forth, and who's going to buy who out. And eventually I got to the place where I said, I give up. Like, I let go. I surrender. I had already signed the lease on this other space as a part of our other business. And I said, I gotta just let go. And I walked away, Kate, without really getting to share my experience with our community. I had been there for 7 years. And it was a very, like how Wellspring is starting to grow their community. Like, imagine 7 years of people that I saw every day. And all of a sudden, one day I walked away. I felt like a lot of them thought I was abandoning them and didn't totally understand. And so my high for the week was that there was a reunion party for this studio that she ended up closing in 2020. And so it has not been in existence for 5 years. And a lot of the members were really, really sad. Mm. So there was this reunion, and I have not seen my ex-business partner since the end of 2017.
Ooh, yeah.
And still carried some just, discomfort with how things ended. And so I knew that I wanted to go. I knew that it was like, I needed to go. I knew that it's a part of a bigger picture for my evolution right now, is right. Like really healing all of the past and having like a sense of complete ownership and responsibility for my part in how things played out. And also understanding that everything is perfect and everything was perfect. And it was exactly the way that it was meant to be. And that I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it hadn't gone that way. Mm-hmm. Like, it forced me to grow in ways that I wasn't really wanting to, So it was Thursday night, and I was nervous, and I kept praying, like, just, God, please give me the strength. Help me just to go with an open heart and come from a giving place and a loving place. And I'm literally putting money in my meter, and several women walk by, and she was one of them. And honest to God, Kate, it was the strangest thing. Like, everything dissolved, and all I felt was warmth and openness. Mm-hmm. And I just walked right up to her and gave her a hug. And I said, it's really good to see you. And I meant it. Like,
Mhm.
all the stuff that I've carried about the pain and, it was
Mhm.
like, and we had such a wonderful time. And so I got to see so many of these amazing women that were a part of something that we co-created together. And I got to give her another hug when I was leaving, and just, she has since become a mother herself. And so I got to say, like, how's motherhood? And um, that was really powerful. So that was a huge, I know that was a very long story, but
Great though. Yeah.
it was,
Wow.
that was a high. That was a for sure high. Um, yeah, that could also be a buffalo too, because that's kind of romantic. So yeah, yeah. And then I mean, a low is just that when I'm divorced and I'm a single mom, and when I like am not given an opportunity to be in solitude for when I'm needing to recharge my batteries, I get
Mhm.
cranky.
Yeah,
And
naturally. Yeah, totally.
so I got a little cranky because I was like, I just need my solitude. So yeah,
Oh.
that's that's it.
I love that story though, because it's true. It's so important for us to make peace with our past. And so many of us get really stuck in what it was, but we can change the energy. We can even change the memories around things from the past because we change, we evolve, our perceptions evolve and change. And power of forgiveness, it's everything. And so forgiving each other and moving on and clearing the energy out just allows both of you to elevate and rise and ascend faster. So that's beautiful. I love that. It's so many people get stuck in their past. And I used to do it for a long time. I would get really stuck in my past. Like if you wronged me, you were on that list. It's like you're on my list, buddy.
That's a very East Coast thing, right? Like you're on
I,
the list and
yeah,
you're
I go
never
on the
getting
list.
off the list.
I
Done.
definitely get that East Coast kind of, get that
Dead
gangster
to me.
flavor for sure. And you'd be on that list, but then you forgive people, you let it go, and then you give yourself permission to move on. And who wants to be stuck energetically on a timeline that isn't even in existence, right? It's just a mind movie. It's a story in your head. So it's nice to let those stories go and those mind movies and just peace, right? Peace is everything. So forgiveness is a huge part of this chapter for humanity right now, all of us forgiving
Yeah,
individual pasts in our history, but collectively, our collective history, and saying let's start fresh. It's a fresh start, blank canvas. I always say, blank canvas. Let's start fresh. We don't
right.
want to be stuck in the past. That you can't evolve, you can't grow. So,
And also what I have discovered is it's in layers. Like I thought I had come to a place of forgiveness and releasing of the past. But then, like, when there's another layer, you're like, oh, I didn't realize. And this actually goes with my ex husband, too. Like,
mhm,
that was also a part of this week's shift or transformation for me. Was like, I realized that I was still, on some levels, carrying some blame or some unforgiveness. And
mhm,
I was able to see how, like I said, everything was absolutely perfect, and that my soul chose the people that have been in my life so that I can transform and transmute the things that I came here to correct and right heal.
mhm.
And so, if that's the case, then there is no blame.
Yeah.
And if there is no blame, then there's more empowerment, because if it's somebody else's fault, then unless they become a completely different person, we're screwed.
Mhm.
But
Right.
if we literally take full ownership, like full responsibility, then there's room for us to change and grow in the ways that we want to, right?
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. And that's such a good point. It is all in layers. I mean, that's the essence of healing, right? It's layers. Just when you think you've healed something, you get triggered in another way. You're like, oh, wait, what's this? Like, just like, where was that? Where did that come from? I didn't realize that was still bothering me or upsetting me. But as long as we're harboring the feelings, the energy of resentment and anger and just, things that are heavy on our system, we're actually hurting our own bodies, our own health. And so I would say, if you want to forgive for your own health, it's not that we're condoning other people's behaviors. It's not that. It's that you just go, you know what? I'm releasing this. I'm letting it go, and I'm purging it out of my system so that it doesn't take a toll on our energetics. And that's what it's all about. I would say, if you're in resentment of a bunch of other people and you're angry and you're hateful and you've got all those low vibrations, how is your frequency going to be as high as it possibly can be? It just can't. They can't sustain simultaneously. You gotta choose, like I'm letting this go, I'm moving on. And a big part of that is just accepting that everything happens for a reason. In that sense, there's always meaning, a greater meaning, a higher plan in place. So a lot of times when we think, oh, this, especially with relationships, right? Like this person wronged me and they hurt me and broke my heart. But oftentimes, isn't it really great to get out of that toxic relationship, that dynamic, and move on and find your next partner? So in a sense, isn't it just a blessing in disguise, where it's like, okay, yeah, they hurt me. I got to see their true colors. Now I get to grow and evolve and move on and find somebody who's not going to treat me that way. So it's essentially an opportunity to just go, okay, all right, I can do better. And you raise your own frequency and you stop hating on the person from the past that wronged you, and you put all of that energy, that point of awareness, on your dream partner instead. It's always, are you looking back in your rear view mirror, or are you looking forward with your eyes on the road saying, I'm going over here now, I'm going in this direction? And that's, again, for the individual, but also for the collective. Are we going to be stuck in our past for eternity here? Are we all going to always be looking back at past conflicts and going, this country did this and this person did this, and pointing the blame and hating? Or are we going to go, well, what future could we create? What does it look like if we all move our point of awareness? I would say that's the big thing. Humanity just looks forward instead of looking back. We have a huge opportunity to do something we've never done in the history of humanity. So I'm going deep. I'm jumping in.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Well, I told you last week I've been kind of diving into the Kabbalah teachings. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's just been really instrumental in the way that I've been seeing things. And I'm a baby in the teachings, but this is, and I have to say, like, it's really funny because, he talks about how I use the word, I use ego and soul, like in my book and in my show, like kind of the, the opponent and the, the true self, or whatever words you want to use. But like how when we do start to evolve, it's like the part of us that doesn't want us to grow is like, gets even louder. And so it feels like I've been in dialogue all week where I'm like, this is great. This is great. I'm like, this is terrible. But no, this is totally happening for me. Like, I'm like, it's like this freaking, ping pong game back and forth between the voices that are like, no, you should stay pissed. Do you remember that time when they did blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I have forgiven. I had the forgiveness thing. No, but let me tell you, that was a thing. You should still be carrying that. It's like, shut up, please. Please just let me listen to the voice of my soul and stop trying to fuck with me and make me feel bad.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, that's so relatable. I mean, I think anyone can relate to that cognitive dissonance where we're going back and forth, and it's maddening in that sense, but it's natural. That's just going to happen in that process for sure. And we all do it. I mean, I have my moments all the time where all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what am I doing? I'm reliving some past scene that happened a decade ago, and all these emotions are being stirred up, and I'm having this energetic charge around it. And I'm like, girl, move on. Like, come on. Like, I love your inner dialogue. I can totally relate to it. It's like, come on. Like, what are you doing, girl? Come on.
Peace, for the love of God.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
Oh my God. And also, like, to go back to what you were saying about the forgiveness, like, yes, it doesn't mean that we're supposed to come back into relationship with what that person is necessarily. It just means that we're able to come to a place of peace, that everything did happen the way that it was supposed to happen for our highest good and for everybody's highest good, right? Mm-hmm. So that's important. And also to like with the dialogue, right? There's going to be two voices that are going to comment, right? So when my soul or my higher self is commenting on my marriage, mm-hmm. It's a totally different conversation than when my lower self or my fear talk track or my ego or whatever you want to call it is totally different conversation. And I can go from one to the other in a split second, right? Like I can be having tears of gratitude for how, if I wouldn't have been with my ex-husband, number one, I wouldn't have my beautiful children. And number two, you know what? I wouldn't have become an entrepreneur because he was the one that really was supportive of me opening up my first studio and helped me get the financial resources to be able to open that studio and also my second studio. And so when I'm in a place where my soul self or my higher self is the one that is like in charge of what's happening in my head, I'm so grateful for every experience.
Oh, it's
And
beautiful.
so, right? And so it's like, I think it's important for all of us to recognize like who's really kind of the louder voice.
Hmm.
And I've been getting kind of nasty with the lower self voice lately. Like, really? Like, stop talking to me. I'm done. I'm done with you. Like, leave it.
Hmm.
Leave it.
I always imagine that voice, that ego side of it as like a personified being. And I
Yeah.
always imagine that I'm hugging it. So I'll see my ego, I dress it up in a cute
Oh,
little outfit. I make it really kind of cute and, whatever, animated. And then I give it a big hug. And I'm like, okay, thank you for your opinion, but I got it. Like, I've got this, and you just kind of shrink them. I make it really like short and small and just kind of cute. And all of a sudden that voice isn't so loud where it's like, okay, 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 I hear you. Thank you. And you just, they always say, love your shadow, love your ego. Versus, a lot of people are always trying to conquer and fight and, dominate their ego, but that creates more resistance, right? Because what we resist
yeah.
persists. So it's
Yeah.
really about loving on it. And it's actually an exercise I do a lot with my students in my classes is I have them just close their eyes and visualize the person they're having the most conflict with, whether that's the boss at work, it's a coworker, it's your neighbor who's driving you crazy, whoever it is. And I just say, see them as an energy being. And now imagine that you're just going up and hugging them. You're just pouring out love and light. You give them a big hug. Just, think of them as a friend for a second. It can be difficult. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing ever, but you picture that person, you hug them, and I'm like, and really feel it in your heart. Think of this person and their life and who they care about and who cares about them, and really get beyond your story, get beyond the disharmony, the conflict, whatever it is, the stories, right? It's always our stories. My neighbor's driving me crazy. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, imagine you're just going over and hugging them. And then I have them do it in a meditative state from their heart. So now they've shifted the energy around it. And I have heard outrageous stories of people coming to class, days later, weeks later, and they're like, you're not going to believe this. The person who was driving me the most crazy, who I've been in conflict with for 12 years, came up and said, hey, I just got to say, like, it's really nice to be your neighbor, and brought me muffins or something, like just like crazy stories like that. Or the coworker who all of a sudden just came up and all of a sudden started being nice out of nowhere. And it's because once you change the energy, that influences their field, as you know, right? It's what it is. It's when we're creating all the resistance that we're actually perpetuating the situation. We are making it worse for ourselves. So I just have people, I'm like, do it as an exercise, do it as an experiment, and see if you can love on the people that are driving you kind of crazy, and watch how those energy fields respond to you shifting your own energy. And it's in that sentence where they always say that you can't change other people, but you can change yourself, and you can change your perception. And once you
Yeah.
change the energy around it, it's a game changer. And then you realize, oh, that was a lot easier than I thought. We don't need to be battling each other. We need to be using frequency, energy, waves of intelligence, and do it in that context.
That is it's so good. And it makes me think about how, like, like every movie, there's like a bad guy or a bully or whatever, right? And this is something that I've taught my kids because what do we always see? At the end, the bully is really the guy who's like really sad, really lonely, like has a hard time at home or whatever, right? So I teach my kids that, like, the bully or the one that's talking shit is really the one that needs the hug. And
Yeah.
so if you think about it like that, like the part of you, the inner part of you, that's the one that's like the bully or the shit talker or the one that's like angry or blaming. When you hug them, like the scene in Good Will Hunting, when he keeps at it and he's like, it's not your fault, and then he just dissolves, like Matt Damon's character just dissolves. It's like, if you take that practice that you just said and you see either another person outside of you that you're having conflict with or a part of yourself that you're having conflict with, if you see that as really just the fear,
Mhm.
right? Or the sadness or the whatever. And the mask is the anger and the blame and the shit talking. I'm going to put you on my list. And you hug them, right? Like, and at first they're like, don't fucking hug me. Don't fucking hug me. Get off of me. And you're just like, I just picture, right? Like hugging this being that's like, fuck you, get off me. I hope you might want to edit out the cursing. But
That's
but you're
real.
like, no, like I see you. I see you, right? Like, and then all of a sudden that being just dissolves, and they start crying, and they're like, they just want to be seen.
Mhm.
That's what it is, right? Like the part of us that's talking to us, I'm having this like in real time kind of moment of awareness, like the part of us that's like wanting to kind of ruin our moment with destructive thoughts is actually just wanting, is an aspect of ourselves that's just wanting to be seen. And if we
Mhm.
embrace that aspect and say, hey, it's okay, like I see you, I
Absolutely.
see you.
Absolutely. And that's what the world needs right now. We need more empathy, more compassion. You know, you think
Yeah.
about the boss who's just trying to control everybody. Well, maybe that person, the actual human within, feels really out of control in their life. And this is their way to kind of have a sense of stability. Or maybe the neighbor who's just mean and bitter, maybe they're just really lonely. And when you start to change your perception of it, and you change the energy and you lead with love, you know, if we come back to our hearts, because as a species, we got so in our head, we get so stuck in our stories, our beliefs, and we think this is what it is, and anything outside of it, the challenges, that thought process, those beliefs, it's like we go to war with them. And you see this a lot with politics, right? And everyone's ready to go to war with each other, and I'm like, what
Mm.
if we just start talking about the common ground? What do we all have in common? You know, when we start talking about more about the solutions than the problems, you know, what if we just keep making those incremental shifts in that direction? Wouldn't that change the whole scenario? It would change our reality. And it goes for anything. So, you know, and this took me a long time because I was very feisty growing up, for sure, very impulsive, feisty, confrontational, like you mess with me, you're done, you know, that type of attitude and energy. And so I would always be ready to go. I was always ready to go. So looking back, I'm like, man, I was creating so much conflict and such an energetic charge that wasn't helping me to move on. It wasn't helping me to evolve. And it certainly wasn't helping the situation to resolve itself. It was when I got older and I learned the energetics of all this that I was like, wait a minute, if I just imagine like loving up on everyone who doesn't like me or has a problem with me or conflict or whatever it is, and just have fun with that process, let's see what happens. And sure enough, it happens all the time. There'll be, you know, someone I meet, maybe in somebody that I'm not friends with or anything, but they're just somebody I see regularly. You know, maybe it's barely an acquaintance, but maybe they'll have an attitude with me. So instead of creating a story in my head and going, why doesn't she like me? What did I do to her? You know, we create all those stories. Instead, I just go, come here, you, in my head. And I imagine giving them a huge hug. And I see these waves of energy leaving my heart and infiltrating her system and flooding her field with love, with light. And I just keep saying it again. I'm like, gosh, I love that we get along so well. And it may take time. You know, there's patience involved with this. It's not that you just get it on day one, but
Yeah.
eventually those people all of a sudden start to treat me differently. They start to interact with me differently. And next thing you know, we're going, hey, you, and we're smiling and waving because love is such a powerful force. It's such a beautiful way to really transmute any disharmony, any conflicts. You know, it's, you know, they always say that phrase about keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I'm like, first of all, no, I'm good. I'm not keeping my perceived enemies close to me. I'm like, get out of here. But I'll put them at a distance. You know, I'll push them away in that sense. But then also sending them the love and the light, and then it just starts to really neutralize everything. You know, at the very least, humanity could get to a place where we're neutralized, you know, where we're not in so much conflict and so much hate, because hate just breeds more hate. And, you know, MLK talked about this, you know, you can't take out hate with the more hate. That's not going to work. It has to be love. It has to be the frequency of love. So I just hope that that's what humanity can at least understand, like for your own sake, for each other's sake, for the collective, for future generations, let's just come back to love, the frequency of love, and have fun experimenting with it. You know, a lot of people right now, they hate all the politics. I'm like, well, what if you were to say out loud, everything's working out in divine timing. Everything's going to come together perfectly and beautifully. I trust the process, and send it all love and light. And notice how that feels in your body versus going, I hate this person. I hate that person. It's like, aren't we done with that? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't. And
Right.
it creates a weak charge in the field, and you're speaking into existence what you don't want more of. So it's time for that shift. You
And I'll
know?
tell you, I don't know if you've had this experience, but I have had this experience where I have been angry at somebody or judged somebody, or, you know, that whole separation consciousness, right? Othered. And then I have found myself
Mhm.
being in a way that's very similar to what I have been judging. And I'm like, oh, yuck, that's
Mhm.
not fun to see. But also, it's like freeing because you realize that everything you judge, you actually also are capable of or have been that way in some capacity, right? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't, it's like, I kind of have that voice where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that person, da 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 da. And then I was like, oh, Amber, do you remember when you da da da? I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, okay. Because it, talk about energy, right? Like it's interesting because we want to feel energy.
Mhm.
And there is an energetic charge that comes from thinking you're better than somebody or judging somebody or being angry. And so, if in that moment all you're looking for is energy, that's a quick way to get there. Now, do we want to have the rest of the negativity that comes with that? I don't. Right?
Mhm.
So I want to be able to correct myself because I don't want the rest of my, experience to be negative. So I got to like turn that around quickly.
Right, right. It's kind of like stress. We get really addicted to the hormones of stress, and
Mm,
we get a high off of it, right? So I think a lot of times with judgment, with drama, with gossiping, with chaos, all that stuff, we get this high, this kind of this adrenaline rush, essentially of just like we get a charge up, and I think people just want to feel some sort of charge. But what people don't realize is that that stuff is just lowering your vibration, your frequency. You could just as easily find other ways to activate life force. There's a million ways, and in the practice of Qigong, it teaches you to be the observer, to witness everything and observe it without the judgment, without analyzing. And Bruce Lee, who did Qigong, he would always say, empty your mind and be like water. And what he means is you slow your brainwaves, you empty the mind, you get out of all those stories, all the nonsense that happens up here, and you just observe it all, you see it all, and you're not judging it. This is right, this is wrong, it should be this, it could be this. You're just like, oh, this is interesting. Okay. And that's happening. And there you go. And you stay in your center. And all of a sudden, you're not having this reactivity. You're not depleting your life force. And all of a sudden, your vibration just goes whoop. There's a reason that I can create this charge of energy. And it's because I stopped being reactive and I stopped judging and I stopped overthinking and analyzing everything and just gave myself permission to just simply be and say, all right, here's where I'm at, just right here in the now. It's not right, it's not wrong, it just is. This is where it is right now. And that's true power. And if people can just focus on that alone, I'm like, gosh, we'd have such a different world, whole new reality. But how many people just walk down the street and they're judging everyone they walk by? There's some quick snap judgment. Oh, they shouldn't be wearing that. Oh, look at them not taking care of themselves. Or oh, pretty girl must be nice. Just all these stories and
yeah.
judgment. And it's like you're creating all these waves that are just chaotic in the field. And then you're therefore messing up your own personal signal out to the field. It's not a focused point of awareness. It's not a direct signal in the direction of what you want to attract. It's scattered energy, and it's happening constantly all the time. I see it constantly, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, don't give your power away. Like reclaim your power and just use that point of awareness. I always say like laser like directionality. Like speak about, emotionalize, and put all of your energy into that which you want to create more of. And that's the game changer right there. It's huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's tricky as a mom, like not because my kid, like I drove my kids to school this morning. It's a Monday. It's a little foggy here in California. They had a great weekend and neither of them wanted to go to school this morning. And like it's and so they were complaining and bitching and talking about negatives and I'm like, okay, so how much of this do I try to encourage them to redirect their thoughts, or do I just focus on myself and try to hold the positive energy and let them, like Mel Robbins, Mel Robbins came out with her book the Let Them theory. Like let them be cranky and negative. But oh man, it is hard. It is so hard. And I find myself guilty of wanting to manage. And I think we do this in relationships in general, like wanting to manage their moods so that I am comfortable. Because if we're all happy, it's good. But if I'm happy and you're cranky, then you're going to mess with my mood and that's going to be a problem. And right.
Mm.
So it's really tricky. That's an interesting concept. Like, how do we, when we are in relationship, whether it's friendships or parents or I mean, you're living back with your family. That's a new experience after being out for a while, right? Like when you have to be around other people. Basically, right? Like when you have to interact with other people, life can get tricky because we are dealing with not only the dialogue that's happening internally, then we're also dealing with everybody else's dialogue. Can you believe
Right.
that? Like if you imagine walking around and you see each person has about 5 people in their head in the right? This is this is
Right.
and but what you're saying is if we could all get to a place of consciousness, and hopefully this is where many of us are trying to, at least we're aware
Mhm.
that they're, like Inside Out, right? Fear
Mhm.
and sad. At least we're aware of the voices and the characters that are in our brain. And we're like, oh, okay, I see who's running the show now.
Mhm.
Let's try to make an intentional choice about who we want to run the show. Like if a larger part of our population had that awareness and
Mhm.
we're making intentional choices to, redirect, um,
Mhm.
which I think is what's happening, which is why we're having this conversation. But man, it's tough sometimes. Sometimes I just want to be like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's always a test. It's always going to be a challenge because it's happening all around us, right? So
yeah,
a big part of the qigong practice is to stay calm in the chaos. And
mm,
so no matter what's happening around you, you just kind of find this space within where it's like a protected bubble, right? Where you're like, I'm happy in this space. So people can be negative on the outside, but that's them. They're in their energy field, they're in their own space, and you just stay in yours. So maybe when your kids are complaining about school, which is very natural. I mean, I used to do it, right? So
yeah,
it's natural, it's normal, and I agree with Mel Robbins, right? Like let them do it. Like that's what they want to do. The trick is to just focus on your own energy, not what they're doing. Maybe you just at that moment, maybe you turn on the music a little bit or you turn it up and you start singing and you're just like unfazed by it, right? And it's like you're
yeah,
leading by example. And you can always drop those little nuggets of wisdom. Careful, we speak our life into existence. Are you talking about what you want or what you don't want? It's just
mhm.
it's you, your choice, and you do leave it up to them, but you just sprinkle those little wisdom nuggets for sure. But it's really just a retraining. It's a retraining to not be reactive and to not get pulled into outside energies. So I can be walking through the most negative crowd, like a sea of negativity, but I'm going to have this big goofy smile on my face because that's my choice, right? It's my choice
Yeah,
to go, nope, I'm going to stay right here. You can't touch, like you're untouchable. And a big part of the practice too is working with creating an energetic shield around you so that outside energies essentially kind of bounce off your own field. You're pushing back on that. It can't infiltrate into your or integrate into your field because you've created such a force field essentially around you. So that's just a big part of this practice as well. You're just like, you know what? Your negativity can't touch me because I'm vibrating here. You're just out vibrating that environment. And so I think just leading by example, as long as you just keep protecting your peace and keep your vibe up and keep choosing joy in those moments, it's contagious, right? Happiness is contagious. That frequency on its own will work into other people's energies and help them to rise and ascend as well. So,
that's good.
and
That's good. Um, Two things I was thinking when you were talking. One is maybe you take us through a little guided meditation where you help us put up an energetic shield so that we can all uh, walk around today having the awareness of that.
Mhm.
Um, and then also, I was thinking about like, I was just picturing you walking down the street with a big old smile on your face and people being like, what is she so happy about? Right. Like, I had this moment this morning when I got up and, initially I was cranky because it was early and I was tired. And then all of a sudden I went, what if this is the week I meet my soulmate? What if
Ooh.
what if this was the week that I got the most amazing news ever? Like, what if everything that I have been working for and praying for, what if this was the week? I mean, it was just like this fun little game I played with myself to see how I could shift what I was feeling just by having like a different thought. And like, if you start to do that and then you start to get excited, like, oh my God, like, what if I got this phone call and they were like, Amber, like, yes, I'm sure some of this could be seen as fantasy, living in fantasy, but also it's just kind of a fun way to shift your energy and like to get into a place of happy expectation, which is what, right? Like Esther Hicks
Mm.
talks about, Abraham Hicks in Law of Attraction, like, you know, happy expectation. Like, You're walking down the street, you got a smile on your face because you're like, oh, you don't even know what's going to be coming down this week. Some good shit, right?
Oh my gosh, I love this. And I've actually been doing a very similar thing. So I created or channeled a bunch of new graphic art. And one part of it was a bunch of horseshoes. And so I put the little collection together and I wrote, expect to be lucky. And I made that my screensaver on my computer. And I've been looking at it every day. And just as I look at it, I just feel more and more lucky. And I keep just, going to my family. I'm like, do you feel it? There's something in the air. Like, I'm just feeling like I'm on a winning streak. Like, I feel lucky. And I keep doing that same thing with the call. Like, I feel like I'm about to get some sort of call, like some great news or some open door or some opportunity. And so what we expect, though, we're attracting. Like Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say, he said, I am realistic. I expect miracles. So if you expect miracles, you expect the abundance, you expect surprises, all of that, that's what shows up. That's quantum physics, So I would say it's not fairy tale land. It's not, just wishful thinking. It's conscious creation. It's the universal energy laws. It's law of attraction, law of rhythm, law of vibration. So if you're in that state of expecting something amazing to happen around the corner, that's what it's going to be. So
won't it be so fun on our next episode to share the big call that we both got this week?
Yes. Look at us setting intentions.
We can't wait to share with you this exciting news that's coming down the pipes this week.
Oh, here we go. I love it. Yes, that's exactly it. That's how you do it, because we believe it. And now we're in that vibration of it already being here. We're already setting up a podcast to talk about it. We're taking action, and that's what it is, right? They always say, just act as if it's already here. So I love that. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you want to take us through a short little guided meditation so that we can all place this gorgeous
we'll work on a shield, a protective shield.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, let me think. How do I want to do this? Okay. I usually do it standing up, so I'm like, oh, I'm sitting down here.
I can stand. You want to stand?
No, it's okay. It's perfect. This is good. Let me just see how I want to. Actually, you know what? This is how I usually start when I'm on my own. This is a technique that I do. Okay. So you take your fingers and you put it right at the crown of your head like this. Okay. So you go like this, and you take a deep breath. Pull the breath all the way to the crown of the head. And then you do slow exhale as you float the hands out. So you're floating your hands out with the palms facing down. And imagine that you're just running your arms, your hands through your own field of magnetism, and you're just pushing down frequencies that don't serve you. So you're just kind of creating this protective shield around you through movement and just through breath, always matching breath to movement, just kind of pushing that energy down. And you just kind of tune into your field. And then now we'll take our hands and we're actually going to place our hands on our forehead. So you do hand over hand on the forehead. And you just take a second to observe your thoughts, because your thoughts are creating the electric charge in your field. And you just observe them. So this is where the non-judgment comes into play. So you just see them as waves. Are they turbulent waves? Are they calm? Are they rhythmic? And you just observe. No judgment, no analyzing. Just what do your thoughts look like? Get really curious. And you take a deep breath, pull the breath all the way up. So big inhale, breathe into your hands. And just hold for a second. So again, just still observing your thoughts, consciously slowing your brain waves down. And then you do big exhale out of the mouth, pushing out those turbulent waves. Let them go. It's all energy, frequency, vibration. Let it go through breath. So see how you're clearing out those thoughts that don't serve you, whatever's weighing heavy, whatever is creating a low charge in your field. And we'll do that again. So it's that big inhale, you breathe and pull the breath all the way up. And again, just think about what needs to be released. So oftentimes this is old thought loops, faulty beliefs, negativity. Maybe you're just being really hard on yourself. Maybe you're judging yourself. Whatever that is, let it go through breath. Big exhale, let it go. And then just very slowly, you float your hands down, go nice and slowly, slowing your brain waves down even more. Just tuning into your own vibration. And again, just observing, what does it look like? What does it feel like? See it all as waves. You might see it as colors. Just what are you embodying? Because whatever you embody, that's what you're radiating. That's your charge in the field. And so you float your hands down nice and slowly till you get to your heart. And we'll do hands on the heart. And just take a second to observe what's in your heart, to see it, to sense it. Feel your heartbeat, your aliveness. Now the heart is a magnet, so it's creating this charge in the field as well. So whatever you're embodying in your heart, you're in the process of attracting and creating. So again, just observe it, see it as waves. It's not, I always say it's not personal, it's energetics. So observe it, see it. So whatever's weighing heavy here, maybe this is the person you need to forgive. Maybe it's forgiving yourself. Whatever you embody here, it's either creating blockages or it's creating intentional magnetism. So let's breathe into the heart center. We're going to clear out what's not serving us. So big inhale, breathe into your heart, push your hands out. So you're inviting in more life force, you're inviting in higher vibrations, and just see them all as waves. What are you ready to release from your heart? And now big exhale, apply some pressure out of the mouth, create some space. And we're going to do that again. So another clearing breath into the heart, be very intentional, inviting that life force. We're going to transmute anything not serving you, melting away those blockages. For a lot of people, it's a wall that they created around their heart. Right? We want to protect ourselves from getting hurt, but that's really just hurting us. It's interfering with what we're trying to magnetize. So now big exhale, release and let go. Beautiful. And then just very slowly float your hands down till you get to the belly. Nice and slowly, just tuning in. What's your frequency? Where's your vibration? What is your unique signature out to the quantum field? And when you're ready, you leave your hands on the belly, hand over hand. Notice the heat in your hands. And again, just observing what's going on in your internal world, this inner energy matrix, this energy system. What does it look like? And you now really observe your field. Is it electric? Is it charged? Can you imagine a protective golden shield of light around you? Use your imagination. That's what guides the chi, the life force, the electromagnetic energy. You might see it as sacred geometry. You might see it as a golden sphere of intelligence. You might see colors. It's unique to you. Just use your imagination and visualize what is going on in your field. Are there blockages, hooks, cords, attachments, stagnation? And now see it getting brighter. So really sense and feel this protective shield all around you, like you're in a giant energy ball. And we're going to clear out the belly here. So big breath in, breathe in through the nose and push your belly out. Still observing your energetic field. See it as waves. What needs to be released from your field? See it as energy, vibration, waves. And now big exhale, apply some pressure out of the mouth. Push out whatever's not serving your energy. Let it go. We'll do another clearing breath in the belly. So exaggerate that inhale, invite in more life force. Big inhale. Guiding and directing the breath down into the belly, getting really centered, really present with yourself. And again, just observing. There's no judgment, no analyzing, no thinking, just sensing and feeling. All of your senses heightened. What needs to be released? How could you create some more space? How could you increase your magnetism? And now big exhale out of the mouth, apply that pressure, release and let go. Then you can just rest your hands wherever you'd like, wherever you're comfortable. And just observe the energy, the waves of intelligence all around you. Again, visualizing the light, white light, golden light. See it getting brighter. And really observe this protective shield around you, as if outside energies can no longer get in. You're safe in this space. You're protected. Feel your power. Feel the magnetism. And just take a moment to imagine that outside energies from here on out bounce off of this shield. Use your imagination. Guide the electromagnetic energy, the building blocks of creation. And get really animated with the process. Have fun with it. What does it look like? You might see it as electricity. And you might see it as colors. You might see it as light particles. But now see and sense and visualize that energy field around you expanding exponentially. Your field of magnetism stretching, evolving. And feel and sense your vibration rising, elevating your emotions, your thoughts, your point of awareness. Feel that power, let it course through you. Feel that charge in the field. And now put your point of awareness on something that you want to attract in life, whatever that may be. And now see that desire, that dream, see it chasing after you. Your magnetism stronger than ever. So no longer chasing, just attracting. You're the force field, this unstoppable force of light, of intelligence. Now, how does that feel? Feel it in your heart. How does it feel to be magnetic and powerful? This perfect balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. Feel and sense your warrior spirit activated. So you're feeling strong and resilient, yet also simultaneously soft and gentle. A perfect balance. Find that rhythm. And now see your field, your energetic signature getting stronger. Your energy loud, clear, focused. Your whole system electrified. Feel that charge in your body. Be very wave-like, very much like water. Waves of electromagnetic energy. How does that feel? So beyond your stories, beyond your circumstances, just feel the charge, pure energy. What are you signaling? And now take a deep breath. Breathe that intelligence in and allow it to infuse into your cells. And then take another deep breath. Breathe it in. Feel and sense the life force circulating through you. And just exhaling anything out of alignment with that pure energy, pure light, pure consciousness. Let that go. Still feeling the charge, the aliveness, feeling the electricity. Feel your magnetism, this unstoppable force. And just promising yourself that from here on out, you're going to navigate life and move through life in this energy. Untouchable, powerful, unstoppable, resilient, and strong. Completely at peace, just protecting your own peace. Radiating out, signaling more intentionally. And then just take another deep breath, inviting the life force. And you can just very slowly open your eyes. Just kind of come back to the room, kind of move your body, some gentle micro movements. I just, ooh, doesn't that just feel good? Like, ooh,
So
okay.
good. You're so magnetic. Your dog's like, I need a beer.
Yeah, I know, Charlie. I was like, I almost worked it into the meditation, but he's like, please let me get near that energy. And he's always quiet. He doesn't do this. Well, he's just got a dead stare on me right now. He's like, what are you doing in there?
I want to come in, Mom. I want to
Mom,
come
let me in. It's so silly.
Oh my God. That part when you were like when you said visualize what you want to attract chasing you, that was such a good visualization. It made me crack up because I saw like I saw it coming after me like, like I'm like right here. I'm right here.
Right here. Right, exactly. And
Oh
that's
my
such a
God.
great energetic shift. You can feel the shift because most people are chasing their dreams or they're chasing love, they're chasing something. But when you chase something, it moves away from you. So instead, we want to magnetize and just feel it as if it's already here. I mean, I feel like I'm in a very different energy just from that little exercise alone because it creates such a different charge in the field. And then you're like, it gets kind of relaxed and you realize it's much easier than you think. It's like, oh yeah, I don't have to chase my dreams. They're coming after me. I just have to keep my frequency high, stay in that vibrational alignment, and everything just operates in flow state, and it's smooth, and it's peace. And we all want to feel peaceful. We want some ease in our life, and it requires slowing down and being still and working with the energetics. So, as you know, I'm obsessed with that.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing I know for sure is everybody should have a Kate in their life because I know without any uncertainty that no matter what kind of mood I'm in or what's going on, that by the time I'm done with our conversation and time together, I will have been elevated into a higher state of consciousness with a lot of humor and levity and lightheartedness and happy expectation. And so I think, like, that's the deal. Like, find friends, find practices, find podcasts, find anything that's going to, without any uncertainty, that you're going to invite that in to your life on a regular basis, so that you will just continue, to elevate and ascend. And we all know that voice that's going to want to keep us in the mud is going to be active. Like, it's just not, that will never go away. I think that's just part of the human experience. But if we are aware of that and we're like, ha ha ha, I see, no, you're not going to win today, pal. Like, I got to go with Kate. So you, my friend, can take a hike. Right?
Yeah,
You're not going to win today. I got Kate. Is your full name Kathleen or
Catherine?
Catherine? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was looking through old notes of psychic readings that I had done, and it said that I was going to be working with a Kathleen. I was like, oh, I wonder if Kate's full name is Kathleen. I know. Maybe they meant Catherine. They probably meant Catherine.
They were close.
They were close. Oh my God, what else? Do you like to sing?
Oh, okay. I don't know if I'm skilled at singing, but I do enjoy it. It's very therapeutic. It's one of the earliest forms of healing for sure, because it creates vibrations in the body.
Yeah.
But what I really love is rapping. I'm very much into rap.
Oh my God. Is there a rap that you want to do for us?
I don't think we're ready the people aren't ready for that one. But
the people aren't ready.
The people aren't ready. I'm going to ease them into this stuff. Nunchucks first, then I come in with
ice skating and nunchucks.
Maybe I'll be ice skating, rapping, and doing nunchucks. I don't know. I don't know where this is leading.
That is. Did you see, by the way, there's a movie out Saturday night. It's all about the beginnings of Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
and I'll tell you, I haven't made it through the whole movie, but I thought of you because, it was a shit show in the beginning, and Lorne Michaels had a vision, right? And like, he saw it before anybody else could see it. And they thought he was kind of a joke. I mean, at least, what I'm seeing so far in the movie, but he had this vision. And so I was thinking about us, how you and I, like, we have these visions of things that we want to create. And I think it's really important to have people like Lorne Michaels who can model for us, having a vision that perhaps everybody around you thinks is absurd. But it ended up really working out well for him and the rest of the world who has enjoyed Saturday Night Live for all these years.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. And actually, I used to, when I would share my dreams with people, be really offended and upset and take it personally when people would say, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We need to be realistic, on and on and on. But now I know that if I talk about a vision or an idea and people are like, excuse me, good luck with that. I know I'm on the right path. The crazier the vision, the crazier it is, the more out of the box, the more, unknown it is for people, the more it makes them kind of, rattles their cage a little bit, the more I know here we go. This is going to happen. I'm more excited.
So this is what we're doing. We are creating something, and we're going to sing, we're going to rap, we're going to nunchuck, we're going to qigong, we're going to dance, we're going to ice skate, we're going to observe the ducks. Like, you have no idea what you're in store for with this.
Oh, it's true. It's so true. I love it. I love just combining a bunch of things like that don't generally go together. I love polarity. I love creative stuff. Just anything that's expressive and out of the box, game on. Like, let's do it. Because isn't that how humans were meant to be? Weren't we all meant to be expressive and try new things and just kind of find what works for us, what makes us feel excited and joyful and alive, and whatever that is, and like have fun, to play. We need to play more.
I know. And laugh. This is it. Okay, so next week we'll be rapping and possibly singing.
Oh no. Oh, no.
You just wait. You just wait.
Oh, you're
My son is obsessed with Eminem,
mhm.
and we were actually listening to him yesterday in the car.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Good.
like him or not, that guy can
Yep.
rap. Is that world record speed that he can rap at? It's
He's one of
unbelievable.
them. Yeah, he's definitely one of them. He's just such a genius with the lyrics. He's
Oh
just
my gosh.
unbelievable. Yeah, he's in his
Yeah.
own league for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah.
I've actually had visions or set intentions, however you want to say it, but had like really visualized that at some point I cross paths with him and we collaborate on something because it just seems like he'd be so fun to be creative with, to bounce those ideas. So who
Oh my
knows? We'll
God.
see.
I see the scene. I see it now. It's like an SNL sketch. You
Yeah.
are on the pond ice skating with your nunchucks, rapping it out.
There
It's
we
like
go.
the nunchuck duel, rapping it out.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love it. See, and that's the thing, if you really let your imagination run and you visualize it and you believe the most audacious things like that can happen, they do happen. I
Yeah.
mean, everything that's been created in my life that's manifested, it started out as just a crazy idea. It's like something where most people would go, "Yeah, okay, good luck with that." No, oh, okay. And I got so much of that.
For
So many
sure.
people resisted the crazy things I was saying, but sure enough, they came into fruition. Now people look at me and they're like, "Huh, how'd you do that? How'd you do that?" And I'm like, "Because I believed it and I let
Yeah.
myself go there energetically and creatively, and it's power of the mind, power of intention. So anything's possible."
Well, one of my prayers, truly, truly, is every day. Like, not only do I want to have all the things that I dream of for the pure enjoyment and pleasure of having them in my life, but I really do believe that I am here, and I know you do too, to help humanity. And my prayer is like, please let me be an example, right? So like an example of somebody who says, dream as big as you can, create, and then like actually be the person that they go, she did it. They did it. Like the Lauren Michaels, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want this conversation to be in the documentary about you and I, how we created this amazing, and like there you and Eminem are on the pond. And they're like, holy shit, did you see that scene? Did you see that episode when they were talking about that? That's actually true. That's so crazy.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I
Right?
love this. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go into a deep meditation and
Okay.
visualize Emily and I rapping on a pond together.
I I have a contact. I know somebody who knows him. I mean, you never know.
Never know. For sure I
You
want him in
never.
the Keep It Real series. It's one of those documentaries. Just even if
Oh,
he just walks by and he just drops a little rhyme and walks off, it could be like a nano scene. It doesn't have to be a big thing. I mean, I'd love to interview him and go the whole way with it, but
yeah.
he's going to make an appearance. We've set intentions.
He's in,
It's
he's in the
gonna happen.
field. He's
Yeah,
in the field.
exactly. He's on the good list, the list of everyone I want to be in this series, you know?
And so it is. And so it
It's
is. All right.
awesome.
Anything else? I
I
think
feel
we
great. That
covered a
was
lot.
awesome. Yeah, we covered a lot, as
Hey,
always.
listen, if nothing else, this is therapy for both of us.
I think that's right, exactly. If other people enjoy it, great, but this is great for us.
Every Monday, people, do you have a therapist? Yes, I do. It's called I Meet with Kate on Mondays, and we record it and we have fun and
We talk about ducks and nunchucks, and
we
we
have a
feel better.
good time. We have a good time. That's it.
Oh, I love it, Amber. Thank you so much.
I do too. All right, I'm going to go hot Pilates. I
All
love you. I
right.
appreciate you. And we'll do this again next week.
All right, sounds great, love. Bye.
Bye. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me and Kate. I hope that you are feeling elevated and inspired. And find a friend. Find a friend that you can share your crazy dreams with and see how it changes your mood. See how it changes your life. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your favorite takeaways. Reach out to me on Instagram at ambersousa.allofme. I love being in conversation with you, my people. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.